Here is tonight's installment of Moon Over Manifest. It's Mrs. Lazalier and Mr. Lazalier, known as Miss Sadie. And hair's not in a bun, still no makeup. Hair's not in a bun. So this is improvement from yesterday. Okay, we're on page 68. A bargain is struck. I did have a few questions today about, do you have to turn in all of your questions for this? Page 26 or whatever it was through 67. No, I only want the vocab page. That's all I want. Okay. A bargain is struck May 29th, 1936. Miss Sadie looked to be done for the day. Her voice had gotten raspy toward the end of her fortune telling, and she breathed like she'd been carrying something heavy. I wanted my dime back. I said I wanted to know about my daddy. That was just some old story from 20 years ago about two people I don't even know. Her eyes narrowed a bit, and she raised her chin as if she had just figured me out.
You show me a letter, I tell you what the letter shows me. She wagged the finger. Next time, you should be more specific about what you are seeking.
I didn't plan on there being a next time, so she'd told a story about Ned and Jinx, a made-up story about two names she read in the letter. I pictured the yellow and green fishing lure and the Lucky Bill cigar box. She knew the mementos I had, and she'd zeroed in on the fishing lure mentioned in the letter to conjure her story. Anybody could do that. I looked at Miss Sadie sitting there, her leg propped up. She was a pathetic sight. What kind of purveyor of the future could only tell stories from the past? Underline purveyor. That is a vocabulary word for this next section. Okay, so it's like a teller. What kind of teller of the future?
Now y'all go on home, she said. Communing with the spirits is a privilege I have. I have ointment on the top shelf just behind the bacon goods above the icebox, but I'll get it myself.
She sure gave good directions if she was planning on getting it herself. I'll get it, I said with no small amount of reluctance, long as you don't charge me another dime for the privilege. I maneuvered my way through the maze of velvet and fringe into her pantry. Velvet and fringe to the pantry?
On chairs.
I think it's hanging in front of the pantry.
It could be.
Should we do that here?
No.
No. Okay. And retrieve the nearly empty jar of salve. Salve, that's an old word. My grandma used to use that word, salve.
Came out of the Great Depression.
It's like a thick ointment or a thick lotion.
Cream of wheat.
Salve is not like cream of wheat.
Well, it came out of the Depression.
Yes, that's true.
Like cream of wheat.
You're obsessed with cream of wheat.
It's good. I had some this morning.
I gave it a whiff and nearly singed my nostrils. What is this stuff?
Hawthorn root, she said, scoping out the remainder and rubbing it onto her leg. It helps to increase the circulation. Oh, yeah, massaging her swollen leg. It was then that I could see the wound that was causing her so much distress.
She sounded very more Russian last time you read her, not nearly as B-movie-ish.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Russian?
What happened to your leg? I asked with a grimace.
I caught it on a barbed wire. It's slow to heal.
That was putting it mildly. That sore with its scabbing and yellow pus looked to have gone from bad to worse in about another mile past that. If you tell me where another jar is, I'll fetch that for you and then I'll be on my way.
There is no more. I gathered the last of the hawthorn root near the cemetery last night, but I'm sure there is more to be found elsewhere. And if you don't go get it for me, I'll snatch you bald-headed.
Doesn't say that. I looked outside at the scorching sun. Maybe you haven't been outside lately, but there's not much growing around here. Dust Bowl, remember?
Dust Bowl.
There's not enough water to fill a thimble.
There's water. It remains deep and hidden, but there's always water.
How do you know?
Because I know what my father knew and his father before him. It's what the diviners knew.
Your people are all fortune tellers? I hope they were better at it than she was, but I didn't say so.
No, we're a family of diviners. We see and understand things most people overlook. We read the signs of the land.
You mean like those hill people who walk around with a jiggly stick thinking they can find underground wells? She made a guttural, scoffing sound.
Paw, what does one need with a stick? All one needs is eyes and ears. The earth speaks loud enough when it wants to be heard.
I was beginning to have no doubt that she heard things. The woman wasn't right in the head.
All right, then. You have a nice day. Oops, sorry.
Wrong person.
Speak up.
I still don't know why she sounds like she's...
It's a new day
Great.
in Crawford County.
All right, then. You have a nice day, I said, backing toward the door.
I believe there is still the matter to be settled about my broken pot. It survives a boat ride all the way from Hungary, and now it's in pieces.
Hungary? That explained the accent. I stood my ground. Well, it wouldn't be broken if you hadn't taken my compass.
Take your compass? I'm out to gather hawthorn root and find something on my property. How am I to know it's yours?
She had a point, I thought, as she winced, rubbing her leg. I was surprised she could make it to the cemetery and back, but figured that was why her leg had swelled up so bad today. I'd offer to pay for the pot, but I don't have that kind of money.
Yes, it is worth much more than the coin you have remaining in your pocket.
She still knows she has a coin.
She does, doesn't she? Because she's a diviner!
The hair on the back of my neck prickled. I didn't believe in fortune tellers, but how had she pulled that off? So, Miss Sadie said...
Oh, this is my line. So...
Miss Sadie said, knitting her fingers together.
It appears you have something I want, and I have something you want.
She said her W's like V's.
You have something I want, and I have something you want.
You have something I want?
And I have something you want.
You have my compass, but what could I have that you want? Want.
2 good legs,
she said, punctuating each word. I wasn't sure where this was going, but I knew I wasn't going to like it. You will come here to do...
That's me.
Sorry.
You will come here to do if you are jobs.
Any job for her would be odd, I thought, but she had me over a barrel. Okay, an idiom. She had me over a barrel. It doesn't really mean that she put her over a barrel, but it meant that she had her stuck. She has to do this for her in order to get her compass back. So she had her over a barrel. It's kind of like the saying between a rock and a hard place. I did break something of hers, and I wanted my compass back. For how long, I asked.
You will know when you have finished.
So now she doesn't sound like a smoking old man. She sounds German.
Times change.
Okay. She handed back the letter I'd given her, and suddenly I found myself heading toward the front door. I stopped short. There, just inside, was my compass, hanging on a single nail, daring me to take it. I gave it a strong look, but knew I'd broken her pot and needed to make restitution, repayment. I marched down her rickety steps, a bead of sweat already tickling its way down my back. Curiosity had set in. I ran back to Shady's place, clomped up the wooden steps to my room, and reached under the floorboard for the Lucky Bill cigar box. Dumping the contents onto the bed, I found the fishing lure I hadn't paid much attention to. The words from Miss Sadie's story came back to me as I looked at the fancy green and yellow spotted lure. The underside of the lure in pretty gold lettering read,
Wiggle King, so colorful it'll catch a blind fish.
At that moment, I wished I never set foot on the path to perdition.
Bum, bum, bum.